Everybody, and welcome to the patch 13.8 patch notes with your host, Hashinshin, the only man who's going to tell you that Riot is outright lying in this patch. Outright lying. I'll show you where they are, because it's actually so annoying to me that I need to call it out right here at the opening stages of the video, because it is actually frustrating me. I can't use harsher language or else the algorithm will not push this video as much at the opening stages of a video. So in this patch, we have nerfs to Jarvan, Kayn, Rell, Tryndamere, and Xayah. We have buffs to Gwen, Irelia, Kennen, Senna, and Thresh. We have system changes to Spirit Ocean, blah 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 blah. I'm just gonna go through all that. So for up first, we have Briar. Briar is being released. That's it. You can see her blood bag shaped body when the game launches. That is obviously a meme that Riot themselves said. Up first, we have Bard. Bard is getting his maximum chime stacks from 5 to 10 from his passive. I believe that means that he can stack more movement speed from his passive. I believe that's what it means. And the stack duration goes from 7 seconds to 20 seconds. So this should allow Bard to run around outside of combat and pick up his chimes quicker, which in turn will allow him to get to lanes quicker, to roam better, and stuff like that. This should actually help him rather significantly, because like when he's roaming to help other lanes or do stuff, this should allow him to use that out of combat movement speed to rush into lanes. I'm gonna be honest, when I really think about this out loud, this might be too much, because if he can keep that movement speed and he can keep it stacked for that long, he might just be zooming into lanes, because that's a lot of combat. So you might see level 2, level 3 bards just zooming into a lane at rapid speed. He has also got stacking shrines. Caretaker shrine now accumulates charges over time up to a maximum 2 charges. So he can store 2 charges of his W. His W now is an 18-second cooldown, then 14. But because you can stack up to 2 of them, that's generally going to be better. Yeah, that's just going to be better. Because even if you think about it, like, the first one he puts down, he can then just put down a second one. Whereas in the previous system, it would take him 14 seconds to get to the second one, and 28 seconds to get to the third one. Now it only takes him 18 seconds to get to the third one. So this, he won't be able to stack up shrines as easily. But he will, like if it comes to a combat situation or like helping out a lane or something like that, he'll be able to do more. In addition, the shrine now is an AP ratio for the movement speed, but gives less movement speed on the first shrine. Gwen, cutting Riot's history of not wanting to buff junglers, we're now buffing junglers. Yeah. Gwen's health growth is going up because Riot hates top laners. All Riot has done is nerf, I shouldn't say nerf, I mean they're not nerfing top lane, but they are nerfing the fun of top lane. By buffing Kennen, by buffing Gwen, Riot has seen it. They've seen fit that top lane will be a less fun, less interesting lane. Because Gwen sucks to fight, Gwen sucks to fight, Gnar sucks to fight, Rumble sucks to fight, Jace sucks to fight, they all suck to fight. But Riot loves them. There seems to be a mental damage with this new design team, I'm going to call it, where they don't seem to understand all these ranged top laners were left bad because people generally do not like fighting them. People don't like fighting any of the ranged top laners. They don't like fighting Gwen. They don't like fighting Tryndamere. These champions that are giga stat checks, that just run up and stat check the hell out of you, that don't even have any abilities to play around. Even Jax has his Counter-Strike cooldown to play around. Gwen, for the vast majority of the roster, has absolutely nothing you can play around on Gwen. In addition, because her trades are so excessive with her Q, it means that the vast majority of the roster, when they're fighting Gwen, can only stand there and slowly get whittled down throughout the lane. Now, the best top laners can obviously deal with her, but if you're playing any tanks or anything like that, if you're not playing some of the best champions in the game, then Gwen is very frustrating to fight and really lame to fight. So they're buffing her. They're also lying in their second word, where they said they would no longer be buffing junglers, and yet once again, we have another champion being buffed to jungle. Now, the only way Gwen will ever be able to jungle is if she's kept up to power creep with the other broken junglers. Every jungler right now is broken. I think that's true. I think everyone would agree with that statement. Any jungler who's viable right now is overpowered. Riot has done nothing but buff junglers every patch for like 2 years now. They finally noticed that they were doing that and promised to start nerfing junglers, but we can see in this patch alone that we're nerfing Kennen and Jarvan, but that's not enough. We need to be nerfing like 5 junglers a patch, every patch for like 3 years at this point. Jungle is so power creeped. Junglers are extremely good early, mid, and late game. That's because Riot has decided every single jungler must be good at level 3 ganking. Even if you're a scaling jungler like Kennen, you must be good at level 3 ganking. They've buffed Kane's early game. We've seen that. And so because of that, every jungler can gank you at level 3, but then they all must be good at ganking throughout the game. But then Riot has also decided that every jungler, in addition to that, needs to be good at scaling so that they can be fun. So if we actually look at the jungle, and I'm gonna zoom in right here, and we'll show this real quickly because I'm proving a point here. I just want to say this because every time Riot buffs junglers, I need to say this. If we look at this list here and we look at the top 10 junglers, Jarvan has gotten ginormous scaling buffs. Lee Sin has gotten ginormous scaling buffs. He does what, 2.3 AD on his Q now, up to 3.6 if they're low. Like, goddamn. Kha'Zix scales, Viego scales, even Nidalee scales better now. Graves scales, Hecarim scales, Bel'Veth scales, Kayn scales, Taliyah scales. Every single jungler in this game has a level 3 gank and then has gotten their buffing scaling. They're scaling buffed throughout the last 2 years. So, let's bring this back to Gwen now. The only way Gwen jungle will be allowed to be good is if she is extremely overpowered. Now, the problem here is that, to be blunt, the problem here is the only way I see this buff working is if you're trying to force like Gwen top to be a flex pick so that in pro play you can like first pick Gwen top then flex her into the jungle. This doesn't work for top because top laners don't want to fight Gwen. She's extremely boring. She's actually as boring as Tryndamere to fight. And then in pro play, this will just make her over the top because Gwen is quite overpowered in professional play. The only thing that keeps her down is she's not really that good as a first pick, and as a second pick, people don't tend to pick champions that, let's say, are bad or are good for her. People tend to first pick champions that aren't that great for her. Okay, so the problem we're running into, and I'm going to tell this to Riot, is that you're trying to fix a problem that people don't want you to fix. And I would much rather your development time, your balancing time, your live design time be spent not on just generically buffing Gwen so that she can randomly jungle so pro play can flex pick her because you want more people playing Gwen to buy your cute waifu Gwen skins. I would rather fix the issue of her Q being effectively undodgeable, of her trades being effectively undodgeable, of the champion just generally not being fun to fight, and the only champions who can fight her are champions who just stat check her back even harder than her, because that's just not fun for anyone. Speaking of champions who stat check, Irelia. So I think, and I'm going to show this because I think Riot has actually entered a period where most of the top 10 top laners are actually at least remotely interesting to fight. Not all of them, not Yone, not Fiora, but for the most part, I would say that most of these aren't abysmal to fight. I don't hate fighting Aatrox. I don't hate fighting Renekton. Jax is fine after his Counter-Strike nerfs. Kosante's fine. Darius is Ghost Darius is really annoying, but he's fine. Camille is now with her Giga buffs, but she's fine. Riven, now that you can actually build defensively, question mark. I'm not saying I enjoy it, but it's like fine. Malphite's really annoying, but he goes Graspy and Dying instead of comment spam, so he's fine. But Irelia and Gwen and later on Kennen are not fine. They're quite annoying to fight, in fact, because they just Giga stat check you into the dirt. Now, the problem that Riot might not be realizing here, the reason Irelia's ultimate has such a long cooldown is because her ultimate gives her a kill combo on the vast majority of the roster. Most champions cannot fight Irelia with her ultimate. They can't. And the only way Riot has figured out how to balance a champion is to increase the cooldown of her ultimate so that she can't spam it, because most champions need to flash out of it. Most champions need to flash out of it. Most champions need to spend abilities, cooldowns, lots of things trying to avoid her ultimate. So it's had a longer cooldown because I was looking up the patch note, because back in season 8 during the hotfix, season not 8 during the after the hotfix, Riot realized that it needs to have a longer cooldown because most champions cannot deal with this ultimate. If it has a longer cooldown, then champions like Sion and champions like Ornn, they can deal with this champion more easily by either saving all their abilities for when she has her ultimate, by using flash when she has her ultimate, by generally avoiding it using those cooldowns. If it has a shorter cooldown, at 140 seconds, that means after she uses her ultimate, you generally have about 3-ish minutes before you can flash again, right? So 3-ish minutes at 6 waves. At 6 waves here, she has to kill you. By pushing the cooldown down, even 15 seconds, that goes from 6 waves until she can kill you to 7 waves until she can kill you. Which is not a good balancing decision, Riot. Because this means that Irelia can more aggressively throw out her ultimate, particularly against champions that can't do anything about it. She can just throw it out on cooldown, force out your flash, and just go for kills more. I knew Riot was going to do this. I knew they were going to do this, where the only thing they know about how to buff Irelia is because this champion is such a giga stat check and is absolutely no fun to fight. The only thing they figured out how to do with this champion is, what if we buff her early game? Because that's all Riot ever does. All they can ever think of doing is buffing her early game. They're not smart enough to do anything else with this champion because they don't know what else to do with this champion. She's just a giga stat check from hell. So here we are once again, and Irelia, who I should add here, here's one thing that a lot of people don't know about Irelia. Irelia actually is quite good right now and is seeing more and more play as more and more people learn how to build her. The thing is, Gore Drinker is blatantly her best mythic, and yet only has a 26 and 22% pick rate. As more and more people play Irelia, and as more and more people go Gore Drinker, her win rate will continue to go up. Her win rate right now at Masters Plus is already 49.43%. With this buff, and with more and more people going Gore Drinker, her win rate will likely be a 52%. Irelia as a champion is not really balanced at 51%. She's balanced more at 48 to 49%. So it seems what they're trying to do here is they're trying to boost up Irelia at all ranks, where she doesn't do as well, and they're saying to the high ranks, oh, just first pick Renekton or Jax, and then you can be fine against Irelia. But not all champions are Renekton and Jax. It's a very frustrating champion, right? Jarvan's being nerfed because Jarvan's giga overpowered. His passive is going from 8% damage to 6% health damage. There's not really much I need to say about this. Jarvan is just overpowered everywhere. He literally has the highest win rate at almost every rank. The only rank he doesn't have the highest win rate is at Masters Plus, and that's just because Riot decided to randomly as freak buff Nidalee for absolutely no reason. I don't know why. Bel'Veth is also overpowered. Rek'Sai is also overpowered. Riot's not nerfing them. Why? Because they... I don't know. I literally don't know why Rek'Sai is not being nerfed, and I literally don't know why Nidalee and Bel'Veth aren't being nerfed, and why they're only nerfing Jarvan. Riot seems to be incapable of doing their job, and rather than nerfing down the overpowered junglers, they just do random shit like, what if Irelia was stronger? Cool, I guess. Now Irelia is stronger. Now what? Is the game better? Is it more fun? Will fighting Irelia more times make the game more interesting for me? I don't think so. So I'm a bit unsure why Riot seems to think so. Is Irelia throwing her ultimate out, slowing her opponent, queuing in so then she can automatically hit an E because they're slowed? And then she can queue again and then queue again? Is this interesting to you, Riot? Is this good gameplay? I don't think it is. In fact, I think Irelia is already overtuned because the new Gore Drinker build is quite good on her, obviously. Bladed King Gore Drinker gives her all the damage she would ever need. And now we're seeing that she's getting buffed. So, okay. Kassadin, this isn't actually a buff. So basically, this was buffed back about a month and a half ago, and then they forgot to put it in the patch notes. Now they're actually putting it in the patch notes. Kassadin's current win rate already includes these buffs. Kassadin might actually see an increase in win rate because more people might realize that he's being buffed, and more people might realize that like they can actually get kills with his ultimate right now. I think a lot of people don't even notice that Kassadin got stronger, so they're being like more careful with his ultimate, and they're trying to be like more cautious. But yes, Kassadin's ultimate got giga buffed from a 40% AP ratio to a 60% AP ratio a while back, and because they didn't put it in the patch notes, I think that there's like this habit of a lot of Kassadin players of not noticing just how much damage your ultimate does. Okay, Red Cane is being nerfed really hard here. From 20 to 30% health healing to 25% health healing. To my knowledge, if I look this up here real quick and I talk while I'm looking it up, so you guys think that I'm actually saying things, but I'm not actually saying anything. I'm just buying time for me to actually find the data. Yeah, if you actually look into it, he was already getting 25% health healing at level 10. So the only time this is a nerf is like if he gets Rhaast at like level 6, 7, or 8, which is really not gonna happen. Other than that, it's just a nerf. So this is basically just a total nerf to Rhaast's healing. Riot seems to have a vendetta against healing. Healing is literally the worst thing in the world to Riot. They hate healing. Healing interrupts their funny one-shot meta. They hate the idea of healing. They hate people who heal. Anything about healing is terrible. Riot hates healing so much. You have no idea. Additionally, Rhaast's ultimate is getting nerfed from a 13% AD ratio to a 10% AD ratio. So the nerf of the passive and the ultimate means that Rhaast's ultimate likely is no longer going to be a full heal, and in particular is very likely to drop a lot of how much damage it does. Continuing Riot's hate of top lane and buffing up the most annoying pieces of shit in the planet, we have buffs to Kennen. Why? I don't know. I literally, at this point, I can't tell you. I don't know who at Riot, like, legitimately is sitting here, like, god damn it. I love really frustrating, stupid top laners that nobody enjoys playing against. I love them so much. God, I wish they were buffed. So we have Kennen buffs now. Lightning Rush is going down energy cost. Slicing Maelstrom is going down cooldown at the later ranks. To be blunt, this is likely not to actually change the champion much at all. It's effectively impossible for Kennen to run out of energy in game right now. There's basically no way Kennen can ever run out of energy. His energy costs are just so goddamn low. I think if you looked it up, he would basically have to spam every single button on cooldown for like 20 seconds to run out of energy. If we look into it, I'm gonna look into it. So Lightning Rush costs 100 energy on a 10-second cooldown. If you hit anything, you get 40 energy back. So Lightning Rush only takes 60 energy. His Q is down to 60 energy, and his W is down to 40 energy. So in total, using his entire kit only costs 160 energy right now. If it stuns an enemy, it gives you 25 energy back, so his entire kit only takes 135 energy to use. From there, you would then have to wait 7 seconds, which don't you get 10 energy back a second? So you would get 70 energy back, then you would use 60, so you would actually be down to 125 energy used after 7 seconds. Then after 10 seconds, you get 30 energy back, so you'd be down to 95 energy used. Then you'd use 60 more on Lightning Rush, so you would be up to 155 energy used. Then 3 more seconds after that, you could use another Thundering Shuriken, so then you would be up to 185 energy used. Do you get where I'm going with this, chat? It would literally take 20 seconds of spamming every single button on cooldown for this champion to go out of energy. It can't happen. And if he ults and he chain stuns you in his ult, there he gets more energy back anyway. I don't know what's Riot's obsession with making Kennergy a manaless. I don't know why Kennen is a manaless champion at this point. His energy cost, because remember, energy was supposed to make it so that, like, he couldn't spam every single ability on a cooldown. But now he can. He can literally spam every single button on cooldown for 20 straight seconds. In fact, it's probably longer than 20 seconds if you really look into it. And he cannot run out of energy. He can only run out of energy if he stacks cooldown reduction and he spams every button into thin air and he doesn't stun his opponent somehow. That is the only way he can run out of energy. And then if he just pops his ult, he gets energy back from that. So I don't know. This isn't really gonna do anything. It's just, why is the live design team, why are the developers wasting their time trying to buff Kennen without actually buffing Kennen? It's like they want to put Kennen into the patch notes as being buffed, but why? Why are you trying to buff Kennen? Literally, why, Riot, are you trying to buff Kennen? Rell is being nerfed, not nearly hard enough. If we look into it, once again, we can see that Rell is the most broken support in the game, bar nothing. She is catastrophically overpowered. She needs a colossal nerf. The only thing I can assume here is Riot doesn't want to nerf her too hard so that she remains a pro play staple, so that, like, the pro play meta doesn't change too much before Worlds. That's the only thing I can think of. Basically, the idea I have here is that I have to assume that we are getting fucked over. Like, we, the player base, are getting screwed over because Riot refuses to actually nerf this champion because she's a pro play staple. So they're, like, reducing her movement speed by a tiny, tiny bit. From 30% to 50% movement speed towards enemies to 24 to 40%. Is that enough? No. Maybe her win rate goes down to, like, generously, her win rate goes down to like 51.5%. And that's being generous. Let's be blunt, this is not going to do much. Her whole problem is that she stun locks people that she gets in range of. Her combo is effectively undodgeable. Unlike Leona, you can't really dodge it. Leona has to hit a skill shot. Great. Rell has to hit a skill shot. It's this wide. This wide. You guys can't even see it. The skill shot is half the goddamn map. It's undodgeable. And if Leona misses her skill shot, she can't get in range. You walk away from her. If Rell somehow manages to miss her skill shot, she just walks up to you. So, yeah. Senna is being buffed because Riot loves terrible choices. I don't know why. Riot, is there a single good change that I've read so far? Arguably the Jarvan one. Arguably the Jarvan one is the only good change they've done because they're nerfing Jarvan so he's more balanced. Because right now he's really overpowered. So that's it. We got one good change so far. We're doing another terrible change. Senna is being buffed. Why? Riot hates us, the player base. Senna is one of the most goddamn frustrating champions in this game. She's no fun. She's not fun for bot lane, who needs to deal with a support who is just trying to scale. Like, how fun is it as a bot laner to play with a support who's also trying to scale? So you have two scaling champions in bot lane. Is that fun? Do you enjoy that? Is that something that you like doing as a bot laner? Do you enjoy, like, oh, I'm going to play a scaling ADC, play someone to support me, and then they play Senna, and you're just sitting there like, dude, is it because Senna is good with Tom Kench, so you can have the most annoying bot lane comp in history? Is it because you can do wacky things like Nautilus Senna? Is that it? Like, I don't get it at this point. But what they're doing is Senna no longer gets reduced critical strike damage from her passive. So Senna now crits normally, which is great. It's not like she has a lot of damage or anything. It's not like she gets a crit ratio from her passive or anything. This change is definitely going to improve the game in a lot of ways. The game will be better with this change. In addition, enemies who are now hit with her AoE snare get an additional stack of her passive. So, awesome, right? We've done it. We've made no good changes. And this, my good friends, is where Riot is lying to you. I literally can think of nothing else than they are lying to you. They're going into your face and telling you the sky is a nice, majestic purple flavoring. And you're looking up and you're saying it's blue. maybe white if it's cloudy. And they're going, no. It's actually orange. And you're going, maybe at like dawn and dusk, it could be orange. And they're like, no. No, it's not even orange. Here's what it is. It's a nice, majestic black. And you're like, at night? And they're like, no, at day. And you're sitting there and you're going, nothing. What? Everything you just said makes no sense. What do I mean here? Thresh is a bit weak right now. Thresh is a bit weak right now. Thresh is a bit weak right now and is a fan favorite, both to play and to watch. Let's explain this. Riot wants Thresh to be top tier. They're not willing to nerf Rell because nerfing Rell would be bad because they want a nice stable pro play meta. Screw the player base. They don't want to interrupt their pro meta. We're 2 patches off Worlds. We can't change the meta. After Worlds, we won't be able to change things because of the preseason. Once the preseason is over, the season will start. We won't be able to change things because the season started. Then we won't be able to change things because the mid-season is starting. Then we won't be able to change things because the next season is starting. Then we won't be able to change things because Worlds is starting. So we can't change anything, ever, at any point in goddamn time. Thresh is a fan favorite. Did you notice anything, by the way? Did you notice how Thresh has a 50.18% pick rate at Masters Plus? At D2 Plus, it's a 50% pick rate, 3rd highest pick. At Diamond Plus, it's a 49.78% win rate at 2nd highest pick rate. At Platinum, it's a 49.76% pick rate. Win rate at the highest pick rate. Did you notice at all ranks, he has 49.42% win rate at the 2nd highest pick rate? Thresh is a bit weak right now. Who the hell actually believes this? Literally, who actually believes this? Who thinks Thresh is weak right now? I think for one of the only times in all human history, Thresh is actually balanced. But Riot looks at this. They look at this 49.9% pick rate. 49.9% win rate, highest pick rate. And they say to themselves, at every single rank, Thresh is a top 5 pick. At the vast majority of ranks, he's the number 1 or number 2 most picked support. This champion is weak, and we must buff him. To put this in another way, if Riot told me I woke up this morning, I would assume I was still in a dream. So, cool, I guess. Tryndamere is being nerfed because Riot decided Tryndamere needed to be buffed. He was one of the most frustrating champions in the game to lane against, and they needed to buff him. Riot literally does not give any care at all. It's like if you ranked Riot's care for top lane, if you compared how much Riot likes top lane to anything else, you would quickly find out that Riot doesn't like top laners at all. I would definitely think, in my opinion, that Riot is legitimately hateful on this game. That they hate everyone who plays this game. And, well, I shouldn't say this game, I should say top laners. They hate everyone who plays top lane, period. They do. They hate everyone who plays top lane. I can think of no other reason. I can think of nothing else. Because it just doesn't make sense. But now they're nerfing Tryndamere's health growth from 115 to 108. And they are nerfing his base damage from 68 to 66. Cool, I guess. Not really that big a deal, and Tryndamere is quite overpowered right now. I'm going to be blunt. I don't think this goes nearly hard enough to balancing him out. 59.75%. That's Emerald. At Masters Plus, he's up to 53%. Okay. At all ranks, he is 51.5%. So his win rate goes up the higher rank you go. Definitely, we're seeing that. Is this going to be enough? It is. I mean, 2 more damage does hurt his early game. Will that affect high rank enough? I don't know. Is it going to be enough? Potentially. I'll give Riot the benefit of doubt on this one. Like, this is potentially enough, I guess. Zaya's being nerfed because of pro play. The cooldown on her E is going up at the early ranks. Her health is going down at level 1. Her health is going up per level. So like later in the game she'll be tankier, earlier in the game she'll be squishier. Okay. Hold on. I need to be right back. To see something. Hold on. I'll be 1 second. Okay, sorry. I thought someone was at my door, but it must be my upstairs neighbors, again, dropping something. They tend to do that. I don't know why. They must be weightlifters who just constantly pick things up and drop them. I don't really know. Doesn't make sense to me. So, okay. There's the Xayah changes. That's just pro play slanted. I think they think that it might, like, help in solo queue a little bit. Because pro play is mostly about the laning phase. I don't know. Crown of the Shattered Queen is getting a little bit of a rework. I mean, well, it's more than a little bit of a rework. I mean, it is a little bit of a rework. Okay. Ability power is going from 70 to 85. So it's getting like a normal ability power ratio. But you no longer get AP while the shield is up. So instead of 80 to 110 AP with the shield up, it's now just 85 at all points in time. The damage reduction is going from 75% to 40%, but over 2.5 seconds from 1.5 seconds. I think they're trying to nerf it in pro play because they don't like it when people don't die in pro play. They're basically just trying to nerf it really hard in pro play. That's it. They're trying to keep it about equal in solo queue, but they're trying to nerf it in pro play. Spirit Sojourn's going from 60 damage to 55. I'm gonna be honest, that's probably fair. So the problem is Spirit Sojourn was, what's the right way to put this? Spirit Sojourn was definitely it's very strong. Very, very strong right now. If you compare it to Black Cleaver was already a good item, but it was like the only good bruiser item. Now there's an item that is like doing the same role as Black Cleaver. If you ever looked at Black Cleaver's stats, it would only ever do like 200, 300 damage in a fight, maybe. Late game, you could get up to like 500 damage in a fight. If you like team fought and you hit everyone and live to the end, generously, hypothetically, you could get it all the way to 1,000, and even that's like a bit of a stretch, right? If you ever looked at your Black Cleaver damage at the end of a game, it would be like 1,800 to like 2,400 at most. It was never really that much. So the armor pen was good, but it wasn't like make or break, so to speak, right? It wasn't like the armor pen on Black Cleaver was like the best thing in the world. So Spirit Sojourn gives up that armor pen to get more stats at a higher cost. And in return, it gets a little bit more ability haste, but no ability haste in your ultimate, and then it gets the movement speed. Now, the thing here is Spirit Sojourn was giving a little bit too many stats over Black Cleaver. It was only 200 more gold, but it was giving 350 gold in attack damage and 300 gold in health. So, like, getting like 600 more gold in stats for 200 gold more increase in price was a bit much. Now, Black Cleaver obviously has more like synergy and it scales better. So like Black Cleaver is obviously gonna be still good for sure, but Spirit Sojourn is just like a little aggressively stat right now. I did mention when they were changing around its stats that they were adding like a lot of gold to the item because they only took off like 150 gold in damage Sorry, they only took off 175 gold in damage, but gave it like 300 gold in health. So now what they're doing is they're basically transferring it from where it used to be. They're transferring its old damage into HP. Now the thing is, most of the time, you would probably want damage over health. Spear of Sojin, on the other hand, was really, really good. Much like Black Cleaver, it was really, really good for being that like really high ability haste and health item. And the movement speed was always really good the lower health you were at. The movement speed is better now that it has more health, because now you can stay alive longer at lower health because you have more health on the item. Overall, it just generally became a very good item. And so they're dialing back a little bit of its damage. I think it's fair if they dial back the damage. I think it's like a fair nerf. I did expect it. I expected bruise items to get nerfed somewhere. This is the best place to do it because it doesn't hurt the people who are going Gore Drinker. It doesn't hurt the people who are going Starex. It doesn't hurt the people who are going Black Cleaver. It hurts the Spear of Sojin, which is clearly the issue. I hope Riot doesn't nerf any bruiser items after this, because bruisers are finally at a point where they can scale and actually be real champions at 3 items. Before they buffed up all the bruiser items, if you ever got to 3 items on a bruiser, you were no longer a real champion. So, yeah. You would just always get outscaled by everyone else. Static Shiv is being changed again. Basically, the Riot Live design team does not understand that AD carries having free infinite wave clear from the other side of the map was a bit excessive and very frustrating for most people. Being able to auto attack the wave twice and clear all the casters, even if all you did was hit one melee minion in the front, made it effectively impossible to ever split push against an AD carry. Frequently, you would have a bruiser or someone on the split push trying to split, and you could literally have an AD carry stonewall them indefinitely because there is no way. How do you stop an AD carry from auto-attacking a minion wave even once? In return for nerfing its minion damage, they're buffing its attack damage, because Riot literally cannot bring themselves to nerf AD carries. In addition to buffing the damage on Static Shiv, they're buffing the damage on Stormrazor. Yeah. It's become clear that Stormrazor is a bit weak right now. No, it's not. It's just AD carry items overall are so goddamn overpowered. You buffed all their items when they didn't need to be buffed, and now they're just kind of really, really, really overpowered. You buffed Lord Dominic Guards, you buffed the Collector, you buffed Static Shiv, you buffed all these items, and now they're just way over the top. Shockingly, I know. I mean, wow, real shocker, that one, Riot. Okay, I looked through the bugs before doing this video. There are a few bugs here that are interesting, I guess. Some of them change some things. The ones that are actually interesting here: fixed a bug that caused Kosantes are all out to not correctly convert percentage bonus resists into attack damage. I don't know what this means. I don't know when this means. I don't know if this would happen. I don't know if they're talking about, did it sometimes not convert at all? Does it mean that sometimes it wouldn't convert the right amount? Too much? Too little? How often? I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see where that will go. Additionally, fixed a bug that caused Jarvan the Force R Cataclysm to not stop unstoppable units. Once again, I don't know what that means. I don't know what this means. Okay. So now we have skins. We have Street Demons Briar. Okay, I'm gonna levy a legitimate complaint at Riot here. How come how come both the splash arts for Briar clearly show her being like, I'm gonna call it like lollified? Like, they clearly in the art show her just being a lolly, and then like when you look at it in game, it looks like ridiculous as hell, but not. You know what I mean? I don't get it. Someone at Riot is not drawing correctly. Yeah. Street Demons Nico. What is Street Demons? What does that mean? What do you mean Street Demons? Is this like Chinese street art? Do we have another Chinese skin line? Boy. League players are, So, it's like the 19th Chinese skin line, I guess? Cool. The Mundo one looks cool. The Nico one doesn't look like anything. It's what? Okay. This is just Vi. Okay. Okay. So Zyra's just not even a plant anymore. We just ditched the plant aesthetic and we just went with the Gigaboob aesthetic. Okay. Is that just what female champions are now? They're just boobs and feet and shit now. Is that it? Is that what we're not really going to get many more clever female skins anymore, are we? We've definitely found our niche at Riot Games, eh? Street Demons brand. It's different, like I'll give it that. Okay. I mean, I kind of like it because at least it's different. I kind of like the Mundo one. I kind of like the Zyra one, but like I feel like I like it overall. Like it's like neat overall because it's different, I guess, but like this doesn't really say Zyra to me. Plant girl. I mean, I guess plant girl's hard to make content for, but there's just no plant here anymore at all. It's just not even plants anymore. That was her one thing. Okay. Rengar. Okay, you know when I complained about the female skins? This is exactly why I'm complaining about them. Because, like, the female skins are just boobs and ass. Show the waist, you know? Show upskirt, right? Like, that's the female skins. And then, like, I'm gonna say it, chat. I'm gonna say it. You look at the male skins. And look at how the male skins, like, actually have, like, unique aesthetics and a look going on here. They're different from the other things. They're cool. Like, I'm not being crazy. They actually are just making the female skins boob, ass, waist. And then the male skins get to be the interesting ones that actually change their aesthetic. Like, this is a cool skin. And it's way different from the other Mundo skins. So I might actually enjoy playing this if Mundo wasn't a terrible, unplayable champion. This Rengar one also looks different. So, you know, that's a cool skin. The brand one also, I mean, for what brand is, but like, how come for brand, okay, let me ask you this question. How come for brand, they're like, okay, brand is a demon. It needs a fire demon. So make sure to keep the fire demon aesthetic in there, okay? Make sure he's still a fire demon, right? It's like, okay, well, we'll do that with like a graffiti kind of art style. And then with Zyra, they're like, Zyra's the plant girl. Big boobs, waist, upskirt shot, give her thigh highs. That's it. We're good. They're like, should we keep the plant aesthetic at all? No, we should not. Okay. Crystallis Motus Talia. Okay, that came out of left field. It's Rock Talia. Okay. I mean, who came up with the idea for Rock Talia? Okay. Let's look in game. So we have, let me close these. Briar. She's literally just a Chinese demon thing. Okay. I guess. It's not really exciting. Doesn't really look different. Okay. Cool. Street Demons Nico. What? Is her head in water? Is that like a portal? Is that a dress aesthetic? This doesn't look cool or anything. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about, dude. Female champions are kind of getting the raw end here because they just don't seem to care about making them cool anymore. Dr. Mundo, once again, look at this. Like, that's badass. That's cool. That's different. That's like, okay, I get it, right? Cool. Awesome. Zyra. How come? Okay, wait. In this skin? Wait. She actually looks so much better in the splash art. Wait, that's crazy. No, I'm saying not in the splash art. She looks so much better than the splash art. Like, look at that. That actually looks different. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't keep her aesthetic at all. Her aesthetic is totally different. But, like, when you look at this is just the upskirt shot with boobs, right? And then, like, when you go and look at it in game, the waist isn't really even being shown off. The skirt is actually longer in game. The jacket is far more prominent. I'm not saying, like, it doesn't keep her theme at all, or even really well, but, like, this is actually way better. Okay, whatever. The chromas so far have not been very interesting. I'm sorry. The chromas are they're just changing the color. Like, I don't like the skins to begin with, other than this one, but even this one has really muted chromas. They're all just, like, white. You know what I mean? They're all white-ish. They're even the one that's kind of darker and red is still white. They're very washed out. So the chromas definitely changed things, but not really that much. I think the best one is just the base model, to be real. God, these chromas are really muted. I think that's the only way to put it. They're very muted. Like, there's not really that much different. I like the skin overall, but do I like this skin overall? Kind of not, actually. This one looks cool because it actually has contrast and pops out. I think if you were to use this skin, this is the only good chroma. Because it actually pops. The other ones are very muted and, like, not good. This is, like, the only good chroma. Why did they do the contrast so weirdly? It's very just not good. Rengar. Okay, once again, Gwen's skirt in Cafe Cutie's Gwen. Gwen's skirt has more detail than this entire skin. How much do these skins cost that, like, you go to the in-game model and, like, there's just very little detailing work. Very little anything here. My shirt, my full blue shirt, has more detailing than this entire skin. We'll give him a blue thing. It's blue. We'll give him a mane. Don't spend too much time on it. We don't have time for it. Plus, once again, the contrast isn't there. Like, between the mane and the skin. It just looks very muted. Everything about this skin line is muted. Here we have teal with pink and yellow. It's definitely a look. I don't know if that's a good look. I'm not really sure what I'm looking at here. This is not very good. Crystallis Modus Talia. Okay, this chroma actually looks legitimately good, but that's just because it looks good. I think the skin overall, it's Rock Talia. Who decided to have Rock Talia? Rock Talia. Rock Talia. I mean, it's a skin. Sure, go for it. Why not? Cool. And what do we got here? Talia, Rengar, Brand, Zyra. Yeah, okay, that's all the skins. So, cool. Make sure to subscribe to my Patreon if you like patch previews like this. Subscribing to Hashinshin's Patreon gives you the following benefits. 1. You help me. It's a really nice thing to do. It's amazing. I would definitely... I mean, I can't complain too much about Rock Talia. This one does actually look good. That one, if I was to play Talia, that would be the skin I would use. I really do like that coloring right there. Yeah. If you want to support Hashinshin and you want to help Hashinshin, now you can. By supporting Hashinshin, you remember that you can always support Hashinshin. Please subscribe to Hashinshin's Patreon. My current Patreon people include... They keep changing how you do things. From the top to the bottom, with the people who give me the most to the people who give me the least. Number 1, Monica and Stefan Ortman. Number 2, Deep the Heretic and T the Fish. Number 3, Alex Tennant, Christoph Marks, Genny Shelbert, Horace the Burb God, Pancho Rodriguez, Tenchi Kanashiza, Destroy, Sebastian. Number 4, Ben G, Blazin Rock, Creador, Daniel Fiala, Deruda, Yadgod, Flashult, Fanaku, Full Yuki, Gwen Mato, Hoon Arthur, Jordan Panning, Justicier, Kalfos Zeramar, Kijubai, Ludwig III, Manuel, Menelab Morgan, Negative KDA, Noxian Scion, OMG Clover, Oz, PBNJ, Redati, Scorpion, Scott Shapiro, Suki02, Terra, Uvo Plaja, Veno, Vivian, WLC League of Legends, Wolfman, and Jan. Thank you everybody who subscribes to my Patreon. And thank you everybody who watched this video. Make sure to subscribe to Hashinshin and leave a comment down below. Thank you. Yeah.